Hello, hello. Welcome back to Crazy Fucking Mommy. I'm Elyse DeLucci, your host, episode 112. We are here in my living room on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, as usual. Let's address the name change, people. For 111 episodes, we were the Elyse DeLucci Show. We moved to Crazy Fucking Mommy. Why? Just needed a little bit of a brand. Nothing more, nothing less than that. That's it. Moving right along. Well, let me say, most of my listeners, okay, we're parents, we're mothers, maybe we're divorced, maybe we don't have kids, maybe we're just single older girls, but I do have a lot of parent listeners. So that's what I am. I'm the kind of the crazy fucking mommy, right? So that's it. Slap a name on that. For my older girls out there, fact of the day, this is for you. Warren Buffett, the richest man in the world, 90% of his wealth was amassed after he turned 65. There is still hope, people. Not that you need it, but everybody likes to hear stuff like that. So I figured you would too. I was on the road last weekend. I was opening for Joey Cola. Oh my God, he's so funny. If you have a chance to see Joey Cola, go see him. We were at Uncle Vinny's down in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. He's been doing stand-up for 40 years. He's a comedy veteran. Okay, 40 years stand-up. Italian guy from Long Island. Just funny, just funny. If you like me, you like him, right? It's all in the zeitgeist. You like Sebastian, you like Vic. You like Joey. Okay, we were down there. I should say I booked the gig, right? But then I decided let me turn it into a little family vacation. So my daughters and I had rented a house in Belmar, New Jersey. So we spent the weekend out there. We had a great time. Great time. Took them to the boardwalk. It was actually their first time, if you could believe it, to the boardwalk. We don't obviously have boardwalks all around, here. I never took them to Coney Island. No particular reason, but they loved it. They were like, Mommy, where's the roller coaster? It's like, okay, even if there was a roller coaster, like you're not going on it. Okay. Because I don't know what kind of maintenance the boardwalk roller coasters do as opposed to Great Adventure. Like let me tell you something. When I was 9 years old, my family, we would go to the feast, downtown, the San Gennaro feast, probably like a lot of you if you're in the area. But we would also go to the St. Anthony's feast. We actually went to the St. Anthony's feast a lot more than the San Gennaro feast. I don't want to say that was like more, let me say, it was a smaller feast. Okay. It was in Greenwich Village. It was associated with St. Anthony's, the parish, which was my father's family's parish. So we used to go there. They had a Ferris wheel. Okay. And I was like 9 years old and I got stuck on the Ferris wheel, like at the top. Okay. And it was horrifying. And I still remember that feeling. It just like stopped moving. I don't know, in my little mind, I got to ask my mother. I don't know if I was stuck for like an hour or like 3 hours or if it was 20 minutes. It doesn't matter. I was petrified. And ever since that moment, I was like, that's it. I'm not trusting. I'm not trusting these local rides. I mean, I was born paranoid. That just hyped it up. So no rides for them. But we had a great time. It's so nice over there because, I usually take the kids out east, not for any particular reason. It's just, I don't know, like it's closer, I think, even though there's more traffic, it is closer. But the restaurants out in the Hamptons, the prices, they're ridiculous. I mean, I took the girls, I think, to Montauk last year. And, we would go, what was the restaurant? Gosman's. I'm sure, again, if you go out there, you know it. Big family place. We order the kids chicken nuggets, fries, whatever. That's what they want to eat. It's like $20 for chicken nuggets and fries. It's not a huge thing. It's a $20, fine, $20. I go to the Jersey Shore, the same chicken nuggets and fries, $8. Now, I'm not going to base my vacation on $8 chicken nuggets versus $20 chicken nuggets, but I was planning on working out there and I thought, let's do it. And you know what? It literally came out to be so much less money just in total. And I think it's because the Jersey Shore, it's just cheaper. You're not getting the Hamptons glitz. You're not getting Montauk. You're not at the end of the world sort of thing. But who effing cares? I don't care. I got a girlfriend. She loves Montauk so much. She goes camping. She rents a camper van, an RV, and they go out there. And, she likes it. Good for her. But she's going out there. She's spending those Montauk prices. It's it's just a lot. And let me tell you, think Warren Buffett amassed the money that he amassed because he wasn't watching every nickel and dime. But let me tell you, it's not that I'm not going back to the Hamptons. I'm just telling you. We went to restaurants like the Shrimp Box, that's in Point Pleasant. So it was so good. I love sitting on the water. Klein's Fish Market, we went there in Belmar, New Jersey. Again, on the water, really nice. The other thing that I appreciated about being out there versus out east is that the prices were different, of course, but the waiting was less. Like when I went to Gosman's in Montauk last year, one night we were there, I had to wait like 2 hours for a table. Here, we'll wait in 30 minutes. Still a wait, not as long. Big difference to the moms. You know what I'm saying? Someone messaged me on I don't know, one of the platforms. I think it was Twitter. I've been on Twitter. Let me say I've been on Twitter for like, I don't know, ever since like 2010 or something. But I was more of a Twitter reader and not a tweeter, I didn't really tweet a lot. The reason why I didn't tweet a lot was because when I first opened my Twitter account, I was, I should say when I used to have a Twitter account like at other jobs that I had folded down, maybe in like when Twitter first opened, maybe, I don't know, in 2008 or whatever. But when I was working at the time, I think when I opened this Twitter account, Elyse DeLucci, which used to be named Wall Street Woman, I was working at a Wall Street firm, publicly traded company. And I went to Pret a Manger for lunch one day. I'll never forget this. And you'll die. I got a salad and I took it back to my little desk upstairs, way up at the top of the office building floor. I had beautiful views of all the bridges, the Lady Liberty. It was amazing, right? Take my little Pret salad to my desk. I start eating it. And what do I find? Fucking bugs in my salad. So what do you think I did? I didn't throw it out and just have a fit. I just quietly up the salad, went in the elevator, marched right downstairs to Pret, screamed my head off, where they gave me like the lifetime supply of gift cards. And then I went on Twitter and I was like, oh my God. And I just like ripped them a new one on Twitter. And someone at work saw my tweet and they like yanked me into the office and they said, excuse me, like I was at the stock market. Let me not cut the shit. But they were like, we list companies. You cannot go on the internet and start like trashing companies. Okay, Elyse, because they could be a potential customer or they are a customer. And I was so scared. So from that, I was like, all right, fine. So I had to delete it. And from that moment, I was always just reading Twitter. But I started a tweet recently, and someone reached out to me. I don't have a lot of followers. I mean, literally like 100. Someone reached out to me and they said that they are a podcast listener and they wanted to know what Web3 is. The question was, hey, Elyse, I listened to the podcast. Like, I know you work in tech. I know you work in finance. Like, I knew that was what your career was, whatever her question was, how she framed it. And she said, I read the papers and I read, Web3 this, Web3. Like, and it's literally, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's like the word web, W-E-B, and then the number 3. And she says, what is Web3? So I said, let me answer it on the pod. This is Web3. Web3 is the online ecosystem that's powered by blockchain. So if you are a company and you are powered by blockchain, right? So all these cryptocurrencies that we talk about from time to time, or you hear about, they're powered by blockchain. Blockchain is the foundation. Just like on your house, you have a foundation on your house, right? That supports your whole house. Blockchain is the foundation underneath these cryptos, right? They run on blockchain. Your house is built on a foundation, right? So any company that has blockchain, that's running on a blockchain, is referred to as a Web3 company. And there's an ecosystem, right? So like an ecosystem, like your house might be in a development, right? And that development or that cul-de-sac, whatever it is made up of all little houses, right? You could say that's like an ecosystem. You got your own ecosystem. You share your garbage people. You share the same mailman, maybe even share babysitters. It's an ecosystem. There's an ecosystem with Web3. And it's nothing official. It's just all the companies that are powered by Web3, right? That are powered by blockchain. They all fit into this Web3 ecosystem. That's all it is. Without getting too technical, that's what it is. I hope I answered your question. Moving on. I read, oh my God, Apple News, you get, on your iPhone, you sometimes you swipe left. I don't know what the hell it is. The news stories pop up. And sometimes they're interesting and sometimes they're horrifying. Well, the other day, horrifying. Some guy named Andrew Tate. Have you heard of this guy? He was on Big Brother and then he got kicked off. I'm going to have it right here. He was like kicked off of Big Brother. What is it? Was it one? He was a Big Brother cast member in 2016. He was kicked off a Big Brother because, oh my God, I can't even believe I'm saying this. A video surfaced of this guy hitting a woman with a belt. Like, what kind of animal, right? Animal. Anyway, so apparently, like, I don't know, he's like going to jail or there's all these, what is it? There's all these lawsuits against him. Wait, he has a TikTok video that's been watched. Oh my God, I can't, like 11 billion times or something. He has 4 million followers on Instagram. He's British. He's raised in Romania. And he's talking about rape and beating women and how he's like supportive of that. And you know what he says about Harry Weinstein, that fucking dog? You know what he says? He said, well, sometimes women put themselves in a position to be raped. And maybe if they didn't put themselves in a position to be raped, then they wouldn't get they wouldn't get rape. Like, you should be thrown in jail. Okay. You're a fucking psycho. Okay. All misogyny, all hateful behavior. Okay. And he's been banned now, I think, from TikTok and Instagram. And, we talked about that. I don't know if you remember back at like episode 30 or 40, I don't know, a long time ago, we talked about censorship and the publishers versus platforms. I don't know if you remember that. Like, where's the line, right? Like in the New York Times, they're a publisher and they have editorial decision making to make. And that's what guides their what they publish and what they don't publish, because they are a publishing company. They're a media company. But when you're a platform, when you're Instagram and your Twitter, right, and your Facebook, you're supposed to be universal. You're not supposed to have any editorial guidelines. A lot of these platforms do have in place editors or heads of content. I existed in that world, right? And in my corporate career. But at the end of the day, even though they have heads of content, it's usually for them pushing out content, right? So if Twitter wants to partner with New York Times, right, Twitter will have a head of content or an editor in chief that will email the publisher at New York Times and say, hey, we want to take your New York Times content and put it on Twitter. That's how that relationship works. But the editor in chief of Twitter or the head of content at Twitter is not supposed to get involved in what's okay and not okay in terms of what gets posted on the Twitter platform, right? And we're just using Twitter as an example. But when we talked about a bunch of episodes ago, where do you draw the line? If somebody's going on these platforms and they're saying, well, I'm going to go around and kill everybody, your head of content has to step in. Your team probably has to take that person off the platform. And then this gets into this whole larger conversation, like we talked about back in the day, about First Amendment and the freedom of speech and all this kind of stuff, right? But it's like, where's the line? Where do you draw the line? So anyway, they yanked this fucking Andrew Tate off the platform, and good, because you want to know what? Because there's sickos in this world, as we know. There's sickos in this world, and me as a mother, you as a mother, parent, any of us, we don't need somebody with a viral video of a man beating a woman with a belt. And you know what? Please, don't even get me started, okay? Don't even get me. I just saw yesterday, I was doing a spot. My boyfriend picked me up because, he's like my Uber driver. And I mean, come on. J-Lo's like, my love don't cost a thing. I'm sorry. Mine does. Sorry, Jay. Okay? Sorry, Jen. So he's picking me up. And I check my phone, get in the car, and I see George Foreman is like under allegations because he raped a 13 and a 16-year-old girl in the 70s. What? What? You know how many there are fucking creepy people. First of all, that George Foreman grill, right in the trash. Okay. Right in the goddamn trash. That thing's going. I don't care if you did it in the 70s. You still did it. You know, in my opinion, you should be locked up. Anyway, we got to move on because I can't. Because you know just as well as I do. As a mother, as a woman, especially as a mother, look at this. Who the hell's calling my phone? Hold on. Who the hell's calling my phone right now? Oh my God, wait, you're going to die. Wait, I gotta, how do I turn this shit off? Hold on. Wait, we're going to have a tangent. We're going to have a tangent right here. Airplane mode. My daughter's friends, my older daughter, you know, she just turned 8. She's at the age where her girlfriends, like, they want to call. They want to, like, make calls and stuff. Or they do FaceTime. And my phone rings, like, all the time, like, all hours. Like, it's very early in the morning right now. It's like 6:30, and her friend's blowing up the phone on FaceTime. But it's different. Like when I was growing up, like when you were growing up, we had house phones, you know, so the house phone would ring, and then the friend would leave a message on the answer machine, right? And then, of course, I was very lucky, but I don't know how I convinced my cheap ass mother to get me a teen line, but she got me a teen line. Probably, you know why she got me a teen line? Because when I was a teenager, which was your own phone number for your bedroom, for like $2 extra a month, because she was sick of the phone ringing. She was sick of answering the phone with my friends, you know. But because we don't have a house line, which I really should get, these girls, they're calling my number. So, but my cell phone is multi-purpose. I got the social media, work, my personal stuff, the family. Now I got my kids it's too much. I'm not getting her a cell phone though. But anyway, as a mother, especially as a mother, oh my God, as a mother of girls, young girls, I can't handle the amount of creeps that I'm seeing, the stories of creeps. Like I get this visceral thing that comes up. I'm a mama bear like you. Okay. We got to change the topic. Have you heard about quiet quitting? Quiet quitting. This is a Gen Z thing. This is not a work episode, but like, why do I kind of feel like there's like a little workish stuff going on? Gen Z is going around doing a thing, quiet quitting. Okay, quiet quitting. The Washington Post is saying that people, Gen Zs, millennials, they're doing this thing, quiet quitting. And it's because they are burned out in the workplace because of the pandemic. And I understand. Okay, I really do. Like, I'm not insulting Gen Z, but these people, a lot of Gen Zers don't have children yet. And these Gen Zers feel that they're burnt out from the pandemic because they've been working from home and they're doing, you know, all these meetings, you know, all these calls, all these meetings, you know, working 10, 12-hour days. And we all know this is called the great resignation, right? But it's the quiet quitting, they're calling it now or something, this new little trend, because they just feel like they're totally burnt out. And after working 10, 12-hour days, working from home, now their bosses and their companies like, well, we want a hybrid thing. You know, and these people are like, well, why? Like my whole life exists online. Like I was practically born on the internet. Like, you know, like what? And I just worked a couple of years from home, the whole thing, right? So now the bosses are like, you know, come into the office. And these people are just like, we're so burnt out. Like, no, we don't want to sit on the Metro North for a couple hours or an hour coming into the office, whatever. So they're saying that they've had enough, right? And as I read that, there was another article by a CEO. It was a post. It was a LinkedIn post by a CEO that turned around and said that the candidates that his company is interviewing, and he was a CEO at a big company, the candidates that his company has been interviewing are lazy, and they're lazier than in the past, and it's like lazy. They're lazy. I don't actually think the candidates are lazy. Okay, guy. I don't think anybody's lazy. I think people are, in fact, burnt out from work. Like, newsflash, CEO, whoever you are, right? It's like we have been homeschooling. We've been working overtime. Inflation is up. There is inflation. We have less purchasing power. Because of it, I just went for drinks with my girlfriend, my best girlfriend, like my oldest girlfriend. Like we met when we were 9 years old. And she was telling me that her and her husband, they went to Costco the other day, and they usually have a budget when they go to Costco. They spend $300 at Costco, and they buy the same things all the time. They're like one of those, like they have like, they don't like give into their impulses. Unlike me, I'm like, oh, sample lady, I'll take 10. But they go into Costco and they have $300 budget, and they buy the same things all the time. And they went recently and it was $500, the same stuff. Yeah. So anyway, inflation, hello, purchasing power. Times are tough for a lot of people. Layoffs are happening all over the place, right? Especially in tech. Okay. And then the CEO's going around saying that you're lazy. It's like, I don't know. How about this? Why don't we have a little compassion? You know what you need to do, CEO? You need to hire Brene Brown. Okay. And if you haven't watched that TED Talk on vulnerability, you got to watch it. You need to hire Brene Brown as a speaker. And you need to get her in your company and speak to you and your head of HR about being vulnerable, being compassionate in the workplace, so you could understand what your employees are going through. Because that's the problem with CEOs, right? That's a lot of the problem with a lot of this top brass at these companies. They have a lot of resources, right? They have house staffs, house managers, they have nannies, they have drivers, they have all this kind of stuff. And I know because I used to work with these people, alongside these people. I see they have black cars picking them up in the morning, taking them, shuffling them back to the office. They're not on the train like the rest of us schlubs. They're not on the bus, right? They live that kind of life. Good for them. But they don't understand what it's like going to Costco, having a $300 normal budget and then having to spend $500. So by the time she shows up at work on Monday at 9 a.m., right? She's tired. She's broke. She's tired. And now she's got to come in hybrid because you just need to see people in person. It's like, so yes, quiet quitting, I understand. But, it's funny to me because the quiet quitting, this little trend is with Gen Z. And like, you don't even have kids yet, Gen Z. You quiet quitting without kids? Ooh. I don't know if you should have children because your life's going to get to be like that roller coaster once you got the babies. But, like, again, the company, it's like, what kind of company are you trying to build? What kind of company, what kind of environment is the CEO trying to instill? Are you just trying to be cold and harsh and not caring, or are you trying to build a company or have a company with values and meaning, like just because, and you have to be flexible on the rules, right? I just don't, I don't get it. If there's a war, there's wars going on. There's wars going on. There's the inflation war. I feel like that's a war. Food shortage. There's a tampon shortage, people. There's a tampon shortage. There's a never-ending pandemic. We just got COVID. Me and my kids, we had COVID. We had COVID last week. We're fine. There's hiring crises. My boyfriend, he owns a comedy club downtown, and the upstairs has a big room, and they have a downstairs showroom as well. The upstairs showroom's running and thriving and selling out every show, and they're running an amazing business. Downstairs, they can't even staff people. So they can't even put shows on downstairs. It's 2.5 years. And people can't pay bills because everything's expensive, and people are being driven to a breaking point. Gas, and there's a car shortage. So it's like the CEO, you know what? I don't know how old this guy is, but I think it sounds time for retirement, right? Let's bring in people that are my age, right? I'm in my late 30s. People that are my age, people in our late 30s, people that are in our 40s that understand tech, that have compassion, right? Let's bring people like us into that role. Anyway, I'm off. Oh my God. When I say off, I meant off the topic, but here's the other thing I need to just mention about this. A lot of companies in the last few years, were doing extended parental leave. That's a thing. They were giving people, they were saying, oh, maybe you're going to get 3 weeks paid maternity leave, or, 4 weeks. That's was maybe the traditional 4 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it is, 3 months. And then companies like, all the big guys like Google and Amazon and Disney, they were like, you know what, we're going to really appreciate our new parents, right? And we're going to give them 25 weeks paid leave. I mean, yes, that's really a thing. If you didn't know that was a thing, that it was a thing. And now there's a lot of companies, particularly in tech, they're cutting that benefit. They're cutting it. Like Hulu recently reduced it's fully paid parental leave from 20 weeks to 8 weeks. And it's it's because they're trying to save costs, right? Because probably due to inflation and staffing and all this stuff. So it's like, you make it think so hard, people. People are going to crack up. Anyway, when I was out with my girlfriend, I was telling her that I was out with another friend like a couple months ago who's a mother and is single. And she's telling me all about her sexcapades. And then she was so funny when she was telling me, like, she's like, Elyse, sex since the dawn of time has always been the same, right? We always had the same stuff, sex, right? Missionary, woman on top, oral sex, right? And, the people do 69. Like, can we talk about that for a second? 69. You better, I do not want my ass in your face. I do not want to be upside down with my ass in your face. Like, I can't even handle. Okay, I can't handle it. And then put my face in your ass, like a guy. Like, I don't even know if they're doing personal grooming down there. I got to be caring about like your ass hair and like your ball hair. Like, I can't. Unless I'm like 14 bottles of champagne in, I'm not 69 and wait you. Sorry. Okay. So anyway, my friend's like, sex has always been the same. She's like, and she's like, and now I'm on the apps and I'm dating. She's like, and these guys, they I go out with them or we're talking a lot, we text, we sext. She's like, and they want different things. And I'm like what? And she's like anal. And that sex has changed people. Like, if you are thinking about getting divorced, I think you need to really think hard about this. See, I don't have this problem because my boyfriend's older. And like, he just doesn't know what goes on, which is fine. And I prefer it that way. But like, if I was single right now and I was meeting people and if we were going to, do the do, and he's going to turn around on like, date 10. And first of all, I don't give it up at least 3 months because I just don't. Like, we all know that when you hold out on things, there's a big payoff, right? So I don't give it up. But if it was like day 10 and this guy's trying to do it with me and he's trying to stick it in my ass, oh my God. First of all, if you're going to have anal sex, like, I think that you have to be in like a really serious committed relationship for like 20 years, right? Like, that's the only time that dick is entering the asshole. It's like you're 20 years in. Like, you're 20 years in, like, you're drunk and you want to try something different. But she's telling me that there's all these things going on. They want anal sex right out of the gate. The guys, they want to do threesomes. They strap on. She went out with one guy. He wanted her to use a strap on her so he could have anal sex, so she could have anal sex with him. I could not even, this is why I can't even. So basically what I'm telling you is sex has stayed the same since the dawn of time, people. And now it is changing. So if you're thinking about being single, be well aware of this. Okay. Be well aware of this and think hard about your decision, because I don't know. Well, get yourself an older guy, but like, please, different kinds of sex. She also asked me if she gets together with a new guy, should she put her bank accounts together? I said, okay, why can't we cross that bridge when we come to it? Like, do we need to talk about that now? But I will say, when I first got married, I was married for a short period of time, and then we got separated. My British ex and I. We just had we fought. It's a long story, but I'll tell you one day. But when we got back together, we got back together and then we had the kids. We got back together and he said to me, I want you to take my name and I want you to put our bank accounts together, because those were two things I didn't want to do. And I got married young. I got engaged at 26, married at 27. And I will never do that again. Okay. I'm never doing that again. Putting my name, doing the bank account, because I'm not like a crazy liberal, like women's rights. Like I am, obviously, like I had a big executive level career and and I'm a strong woman and all that kind of stuff. Like I am, but I'm also like, I appreciate tradition. Like if you come to my house, it's like very traditional. I like traditional customs, but and all that stuff. And I like taking the man's name, but but then you get but see, the thing is like when you get older and you get, and you get advanced degrees with your maiden name, and you're making all this money with your maiden name, it's like, what are you going to do? You can throw it all away for a husband's name. So it's like, I like it, but then I don't. I have conflicting thoughts. But my point is, I would never do it again. I would never do it again because, like I said, even though I'm traditional, I found it dehumanizing. I found it dehumanizing to have got all of my degrees, my job, all in my name, and then to just throw it all away and take my husband's name. And then I have my bank account and my brokerage accounts and my investments. And then to just put his name on all the accounts. I felt like that was dehumanizing. So we wound up having this whole conversation, right? My newish single mom girlfriend about, should she put a bank account together? Should she get remarried? Again, little premature on her part, but she's OCD, fine. I am very serious about women keeping your money to yourself. Like, I think when people get married, now that I'm a little bit older and smarter, okay, I think that when you get married, you should open up a joint account with your significant other, and both of you should contribute a percentage of your earnings into the account. Okay. If you want to put 50% of your paycheck into the account, and he puts 50% of the paycheck in the account. And if he makes more, then obviously there's going to be more money coming from his 50% than yours. And if you make more, then it's going to be that. But it's even because it's a percentage basis. But if you're both putting your whole check, I mean, it winds up being unfair. Now, it's a different situation if you don't work, or it's a different situation if, you're an admin, or maybe you're entry level ish. And if he's, like a VP or something, right? That's a little different, right? Because then it's just assumed. And he knew through the dating process that he's going to be the one carrying the bills and carrying the finances. Then you might have a different arrangement. But if you're both working corporate professionals, and you're in your 30s and you're getting married, why the hell, or 40s or 50s, why the hell would you just put all your money together? See, with me, I saw so much financial insecurity with my own mother. Right? It was like baked into my DNA, like the financial insecurity. Like, I come from a middle-class family, and my mother and my father, my mother got married at 21. They dumped all their money together. And then my mother got divorced when I was like 17. She had nothing, like literally nothing, it's petrifying. So as a woman, working, when I put my money together with Paul, I was freaking stupid when we got back I was like, yeah, like we'll just have the one account, one checking, one savings, whatever. We'll put it all together. And I was making 5 times the amount that my husband was making. And I don't know if I ever told you people, I became a millionaire at 30, a self-made millionaire at 30 years old. It is what it is. Okay. And that's not something that I talk about really publicly. It's private because it is private. But I did. I became a self-made millionaire at 30 years old. I've everything that on my own. Maybe I was like actually like 31 or 32, whatever. Let's round to 30. And I just put everything together with him, and I didn't think much of it. Right. And that's the situation. So why would you do this? Why would you do the same? Maybe you're a self-made millionaire. Maybe you're a 100,000-aire, right? Like maybe not. Maybe you're a 5-figure-aire. It doesn't matter. It's your fucking hard-earned money, right? And when I had a brokerage account, an E-Trade brokerage account that I made. I don't have it anymore, but I made that account when I was, 22 or 23. I didn't know what the hell I was doing at the time when I was doing it, but I made and I bought little stocks. It amassed into something over the years, right? So by the time I was maybe like 29, over the years, it was short actually period of time because if I opened it at 22 and then I'm talking when I was 29, 30, whatever. That money grew. And I just put his name on it. And then when I got divorced, everything was split in half. It's not fair. So I don't think that I think that everything should be percentage based. When you, in your family, if you've watched older family members, like my mom, have to, as an adult woman, have to go to her mom and ask for money, right? Those kind of experiences make us so they put an imprint in our head. Either it tells you can always go to your parent to bail you out, or it says shit, like even my own mom is unstable. And it was the latter for me. Like, I don't have a mother that I could go and say, fuck, like, I need help, mom. Can you like give me money? There were times in my life when I had to borrow money as an adult. Because when I say became a millionaire at 30, I don't necessarily mean liquid. I mean in assets, right? So there were times in my life when I needed to borrow money, right? And I had no idea to go to. So I built that stuff was sacred to me. And then you think I'm going to go turn that around to just a man? You know, now at this stage in my life, screw that. And I told you last week, right, about prenups, and I definitely would have a prenup and all that. But like, I couldn't believe she was asking me, should I have a joint bank account, you know, or like put all my money together? Should I get remarried? I was just like, no, you should we can't, if we're going to choose to get married older or get married again, why would we mix the finances? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You're merging your emotional life, your romantic life. There's no need to really merge your financial and life. Of course, though, unless he wants to give you everything, great. Or unless you want to give him everything, great. Not something I would advise, but it is what it is. Older people, they staunchly believe in merging finances, right? Like I have a friend's mother who says, like, when you have your money together, it brings you together. I do actually agree. When I had my money together with my husband, my ex-husband, we felt closer. We were doing the same goals and all that kind of stuff. But like when it's the second, third, fourth marriage, you've already lived life. Like we're not like babies anymore. We're not starting out both making $15,000 a year, you know? Maybe we have a couple kids or a house. Like like people say, older people, older, like now the Depression era age grandparents, right? They'll say, oh, well, you're supposed to be all in. And yes, maybe if you're starting out together, but I don't know. I felt like it was dehumanizing. That was my opinion. And I'm going to probably be talking to my kids about that when they get to be older, right? Luckily for me, as you know, I've spoken to people. When we got divorced, it was just everything was split down the middle. I got divorced without lawyers. What's the point of having a lawyer? Okay, in my case, I didn't see the need to have a lawyer. We had assets, but we just split everything down the middle, right? And he went his way and I went my way. And you know why? Because a lawyer is going to cost me $25,000 and then Hibbs $25,000, and then we're $50,000 out. The only people that we're hurting is our daughters. So that's what we did. Right. But that was that's a very rare thing. I don't know. The money thing, money is, I'm going to do some more stuff about that. Not on the podcast, because I don't know. I don't think like everybody, I think everybody just wants to like hang out, but I just think that this is a big topic. I think that also, like for me, coming from like very middle class, like when I pick up personal finance books, which obviously I've read like every single one of them, or when I watch like Susie Orman, like I love those kind of shows. Like, Can You Afford It? I love all that kind of stuff. When I watch those people, it always seems so out of reach, you know? Like, I mean, if you don't know the financial terms, if you don't know like how to set up certain accounts, if you don't know like where to start, they all seem so out of reach. And then a lot of the personal finance books are like, well, you should just stop drinking a $10 latte every day. And it's like, why should I stop drinking a $10 latte? So I could go kill myself? Why should I stop drinking a $10 latte? I'm not going to stop drinking a $10 latte because that's the only thing I freaking spend my own money on. My money goes to everything else other than the one thing I do. I do my nails and I do a latte. I'm not spying the latte, right? Like that's like all the personal finance books. I mean, there's not a lot of personal finance conversation, in my opinion, for regular middle class people like myself that took themselves to another level. There's not a lot of personal finance for Italian American women. So I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. If you're listening, tell me if you think that that's correct. or incorrect, or what your opinions is on that, because it is something, again, I'm not going to talk about a lot on the podcast, but I did want to get your opinion on that. I think I get a lot of questions about girls asking me about jobs, or maybe sometimes about money, and how I afford my apartment on my own, or how I bought my apartment, or, whatever else, other places that I bought. How did I do that? So I'm happy to share that information with people. I have to find the right medium to share it. Maybe it's in the form of a website or a book, but I want to know, or maybe it's another podcast, like a money podcast, but I want to know if that's something that you would want to hear about. Like, where do you start? Like, if you are listening to me right now and you're in your car and you're driving and you're 26 or you're 35 and you're like, I'm making my salary and I want to max out my 401k, or I want to open a brokerage account, I don't know how, or I don't know how to pick investments. Is that something that you want to hear about? Or you're like, I want to buy an apartment, but I don't know where to start. I don't know how to save money and no one's giving me a down payment. Like, this was all me, right? This was all, I did this all on my own. So if you want that kind of stuff, right? Italian girl from the streets, money, like almost like scrappy money management, and I don't want to say money management, like money, how to get to the next level. Please let me know. Please send me a DM. Okay. Anyway. Okay. I went to the beach at the Jersey Shore. My sister, Allison, came. So great. We had our favorite beach chairs. I'm sure you use them too. The Tommy Bahama beach chairs, right? Like, are these not the best? I had like a Rio beach chair, which was also great. But everybody likes the Tommy Bahama because you get like the backpack and the cooler in the back, And of course, the whole chair is the backpack. But my sister, this is product of the day, by the way. My sister had a shade, like an umbrella for her chair, not a clip-on umbrella. It was actually a shade. It wasn't an umbrella. And I was like, oh my God, I need that, because I like to lay out in the sun, but I don't really love to get tan anymore. I just don't. It clogs my pores. I have like mild rosacea. Like, I can't handle it. I just want to, like, I'm like the Asians. I want to be under a parasol kind of thing. But I don't have a beach umbrella. And so I have the chair and I'm baking, and my sister has a sunshade. So it's called, I asked her to give me the stuff because I'm going to tell it on the podcast. Clever Made. I'm looking at it right now. Chair umbrella, sport canopy. It has that, UPF 50, whatever. It's a beach umbrella thing, like a shade. It has the clamps, but it goes onto your chair. So it's not one of those like clamped one arm umbrellas. You know what I'm saying? That go on one side and you have to carry it separate. Like, this is a flat little shade thing and it folds into the chair. So when she's carrying her backpack chair, she's got the shade in there too. It's $30 on Amazon. Clever Made chair umbrella. I didn't order it yet. I'm going to order it. I'm going to order it and I'm going to slot it into my chairs for next year. So when next year comes around and I take the chairs to the beach, I'm going to open it up and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so smart because I did this a year ago. I'm going to surprise myself because it's all about the surprise and delight people, right? Anyway, quote of the day is this by Pink. Yes, Pink, but Pink from her musical. And it says, once you figure out what respect tastes like, it tastes better than attention. And I agree. Who needs attention when you can have respect? Oof. That's the thing. A lot of comedians, right? We go on stage and people say, oh, they want the attention. They want this, they want that. And yeah, to an extent, yes. But respect is better than that, right? We all know it. Anyway, so listen, this is Crazy Fucking Mommy. This is our first show with the new name, but we are at episode 112. So thank you always. And do me a favor, send me a DM if you're interested in hearing about that stuff. And again, the podcast isn't changing. It's not going to be podcast stuff. If you're watching this on YouTube, by the way, I'm scratching because I have I'm one of these people with the most sensitive skin. I scratch, my whole face turns red. I can't take it. Anyway, send me a DM. Let me know. Please give me a like in the Apple Podcast store, on Spotify. Drop me a comment. This is Crazy Fucking Mommy, episode 112. I'm Elyse DeLucci. Thank you always for listening. Love you, baby. See you soon.